Jordan Peterson shocks the interviewer by saying the smarter a woman gets, the less likely they are to be married. And in this viral clip with millions of views, we're going to react to this. My name is Aaron. Welcome back to the channel. And I do Christian perspectives and reactions to viral content. So let's get right into this Jordan Peterson clip.
Women prefer men who are about 4 to 5 years older than them. And they marry across and up dominance hierarchies. So there's the evidence for this with regards to IQ is quite clear. As a woman's IQ increases, the probability that she'll be married decreases.
Okay, so he says that's a lot to take in here. And I think what he's saying is that I don't even blame the woman, right? It seems like silly to blame the woman for trying to be smarter. I blame the men, okay? You need to be able to banter with a woman successfully. And banter takes a lot of wit and charisma and intelligence and insight. You're going to need accomplishments. You're going to need to carry a conversation with an intelligent woman. So no, I don't blame the woman for being smart. I don't think women should be dumber. But he says that smart girls intimidate boys, you know? So I think that's true. It was true, at least for me when growing up, but let's continue.
And the reason for that is that she's looking, you imagine a very accomplished woman. I've known many, many extremely accomplished women. Okay, so the women I'm talking about, and I've known, I would say, several dozen of them because of the work I do in consulting. Yeah. Most of the women I've known who are like this are lawyers, but many of them are businessmen or partners in consulting firms or professors for that matter. So these women are often, say they're about 29 to 30, something in that range. Eh? Yeah. They're very attractive. They're very well put together. They're very physically fit. They're extremely conscientious. They're very, very career focused and driven. And they're extraordinarily intelligent. Well, they intimidate every man who comes near them. I mean,
yeah, I can imagine.
And it isn't because they're acting in an intimidating manner, although they do. It's also because men tend to mate across and down dominance hierarchies. And there just aren't that many men who are attractive, 30, very career focused, very conscientious, very well put together physically, very intelligent, and earning a very high salary. Like the number of guys like that who are also unattached. Like there aren't any guys like that.
Yeah. And I mean,
yeah, so he's saying that there's a fewer people to choose from for a woman. The smaller the dating pool gets, the smarter they are, the more accomplished they are. And it just raises the question for me, is like, would it be better? Is he saying it's better for a woman to be dumber, to be stupid? I don't even like asking that question. It's such a stupid question to me. Of course not. But it seems like he's making the case like if the smarter they are, I mean, the logic makes sense. The smarter they are, the more intimidated they are, the more less qualified a man, more men are to take her out, to take care of her, to support her, that to earn her respect. Sounds so dumb to ask that question. Yeah, should a woman be more dumb, act dumb, play dumb? I think you see this in like a lot of movies. I think women do that. I also think that maybe it feels good for a man to feel like, yeah, I'm the smarter one in this relationship. Yeah, the woman is like a cheap way to get respect. Rather than to be smarter as a man, which I think you should, more intelligent, more insightful, deeper thought, have logical reasoning, you get a dumb girl. It's, you know what I mean? It seems like a stupid question, but is it though? I don't know. It's a conundrum for women.
So and then. You add one more dimension to that, which is that a 29 to 30-year-old woman, say, brings a problem to the table that a 23 to 25-year-old woman does not bring to the table, which is that she wants to have a child tomorrow, whereas a 25-year-old woman wants to have a child sometime in the next 5 years. And so unless the guy that she's looking for, this 29-year-old woman, is like ready to go at the drop of a hat, then it's easier for him to just pick a younger woman who is also not as intimidating. And so this happens all the time. And it, I mean, there's no place to lay blame. It's just how it is. I mean, I understand why these women are doing what they're doing.
Why wouldn't
No
you?
woman wants to find a man she has to support. And the reason for that is because she's actually looking for support because she wants to have children. And that's perfectly reasonable. But there are circumstances under which that radically reduces the domain of choice that's left for certain women.
I think this is a good case for getting married early. Because if you get married early and you commit to someone else early, you then have two people who are in a committed relationship for the long term where they experience the benefits of both people at their peak, at their prime, as it were, right? For a woman, she's most beautiful at her, at that age, at that young age. She's less beautiful at an older age. But if she is there to support and be with her guy through, which is less valuable than she is at the time, because undoubtedly she would get inundated with all these DMs and people reaching out and all these older guys reaching out who are more valuable. But as time goes on, if she doesn't leave that committed relationship, she is then now more taken care of by that guy who has seen her, been with him through his struggles of trying to make it, trying to add value to his life. I don't know. I think this is I mean, especially if you grow old together and you learn together, you learn about sexuality, you learn how to make your lives and build your lives together. You learn about the guy, how to earn together, and you manage each other's, how you not just compete with each other, but fight well, and you have all those cues. And so I think this makes a really good case for getting married and committing lifelong early together.
The thing is, women also underestimate the degree to which men are terrified by women. And it's because men's experience, generally speaking, is, although it's changed to some degree in recent years, is that the most probable answer to the question, will you give me your phone number, is, are you kidding? Right. Exactly. So the probability of rejection is very, very high. And these women that have all these things going for them are also terrifying targets for rejection. And men also assume that, well, they must be flooded with requests, and they don't even bother. And then the age thing also kicks in hard. And this is one of the things that makes women's lives particularly complicated, in my estimation, is that they have to solve all the complicated problems of life in the time from the age of 20 to the age of 35. And men just don't have to do that. So the pressure isn't there for men. And so
I think when he talks about rejection, that's something that men have to get over. It's a fear of rejection. It is equated to placing your value into someone else's hands, or placing your self-worth or self-respect into someone else's hands, whether they accept you or reject you. That is determinant of who you are as a person, which is just not true. And I think as a young man, when you have nothing going for you, you're extremely insecure, and to try to get to another young lady who is like the most attractive thing to you in that time, you have nothing. You have nothing to bring. So of course they're extremely intimidating, especially when you're in the arena to compete for them with other older men who bring a lot more to the table, as it were, for that young lady. You can't compete with a dude who's going to fly her out to Dubai for a weekend, or the Maldives or whatever, Maldives. And so I think men must get over their fear of rejection by developing the muscle to just walk away, to be okay with it not turning out in the positive, to be okay, be like, okay, yeah, it just didn't work out, and to generate and build that muscle over and over again. Otherwise, you're in it for you're in for a hard time. And I think that's what happens. Is I think just it's hard. It's easier said than done, obviously, but it's one of those things where, like, hey, we have to be able to not be so hung up on the rejection aspect of it, because you have to just build that muscle. So yeah, I get it.
As women move towards their 30s, the power relationship between men and women also starts to transform, because I mean, there's almost nothing less valued than a young man. But that starts to change as men move towards their 30s if they're successful. Whereas there's almost nothing more valued than a young woman. But that changes as women move towards their 30s. So these are biological facts that make the mating situation, let's say, extraordinarily complicated and also quite tragic and even catastrophic. But there's no easy solution on the horizon. It's not like anybody knows what to do about it.
No, I think people know what to do, right? Divorce is the cause for all of this. A committed marriage will solve all this, and divorce will cause all this, right? If you're a young lady and a man comes and your older man who brings a lot to the table, security wise, financially wise, all that stuff. If they get married, that's it. They're done. However, if time goes on and that man or that lady, if they divorce, what ends up happening is that, if they have children, the children are separated and the woman has to, like, now she's stopped her value in life. I mean, based on this, is going down. Maybe she just was living off the guy's money. I mean, there's we could play a whole bunch of hypotheticals. Essentially, divorce is so detrimental that it leaves a woman with literally nothing, right? Not literally, but like with nothing. Maybe you have a middle-aged woman who is not in the prime beauty of her life or not in the prime childbearing age of her life. Probably, I mean, this happens a lot. That doesn't have the skills because she was living with them. Maybe she wanted support because she was wanting to have kids. And so she doesn't have any work skills, or the prime beauty age is over, or the childbearing age is over. And so to another man, she brings no value. She brings another kids and she brings a lot of baggage. That, and I'm strictly talking in a sense of like, just like ones and twos, like pros and cons list. Of course, they have a lot of value. Of course, they have self-worth. Of course, they're beautiful in God's eyes. Of course, of all that. But I'm looking at it from a pragmatic perspective, right? And this is why divorce is so detrimental, is because it leaves women like, I mean, in a terrible spot. And it brings men down. It's like, okay, now a guy should, if he's a good guy, should be supporting that family, trying to build another family, and now you're in the dating pool again for a younger woman or a woman that you could get, and then it makes it hard for younger men because you got these like older men with a lot of money coming in with their yachts. Of course, I'm painting like a hypothetical here, but you get what I'm talking about here. Divorce is so detrimental, and it breaks down the nuclear family, and doing so, it really puts a lot of strain in society in a lot more ways than I think is intended. We think that divorce is just for them, but no, divorce doesn't just affect the nuclear family; it affects the society as a whole, which is why God, doesn't want divorce. That's not the way God designed marriage to be. Committed, lifelong, but everyone's doing good. Everyone enjoys the peak of their lives, and now all your life is peak, right? Like your female is peak, and then the male is peak later in life, and so it's good. It's both are valuable. But when you add divorce into the mix, you're asking for a whole lot of trouble. So that's an unfortunate side effect of divorce. It's a society breakdown.
There was I can't remember the name of the female actress, but she was, I don't know, 50-something. And she was in a newspaper being interviewed, and she was complaining that male actors tend to, when they get older, they cultivate gravitas. People respect them because they're old and they're grey. Whereas with older women, people aren't interested. And it's one of those things, well, if you look back at your career, you made a lot of your success came from your looks, and you flaunted that. You used makeup, you wore low cut tops, and you did photo shoots, and you appeared in a few racy movies to get yourself noticed and things like this. And it's like, well, yeah, I mean, you were taking advantage of a natural gift that you had, and that has gone because of the passage of time. A man never had that option, so he had to explore other ways to try and make himself be noticed. And so it's not surprising that after cultivating his personality, because he couldn't cultivate his physical looks in the same way, you end up with a different result at the end of that.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think, I mean, we're talking in generalities and hyperboles, but I think that's just why God designed marriage to be lifelong committed. I mean, for a whole host of reasons, right? Because, God's relationship with us is lifelong and committed and eternal. But in a pragmatic sense, divorce is just so detrimental, especially like in this dynamic. Like this just is a natural dynamic. That Jordan Peterson's just playing out. The older a woman gets, the smaller their dating pool, and the older a man gets, the bigger their dating pool. And how do you balance that out? Well, you get married early and you stay married for the rest of your life. Stay in a committed relationship. And everyone wins. Society wins, the marriage wins, the kids win. However, when divorce happens, you're just asking for a whole bunch of trouble. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think in the comment section down below, and check out my other videos by Jordan Peterson based on dating and sex and all that. The links are all in the description or right here on the screen. Thanks so much for watching. Hit the like button if you like this content, notification bell, subscribe, and I'll see you guys hopefully in the next video.